everyone! Welcome to our YouTube channel Research Ready and Student Matters Hub by Doclin. And so I am Doclin. I will have another lesson video which I assure makakatulong dun sa data na nakuha ninyo sa inyong research. Ang topic natin ngayon ay tungkol sa triangulation. So ano ba ma'am yung triangulation? In a general concept, ang triangulation, ginagamit natin ito para ma-strengthen yung data natin. So, minsan kasi, or ngayon, sa research, one data collection methods is not enough in order for you to emphasize the comprehensiveness and reliability of your data. So, what do I mean by that? Halimbawa, isa kang researcher, gumamit ka ng survey, inanalyze mo yung data mo, tinabulate mo siya, pinresent mo, inanalyze mo siya. Pero ang tanong, how did you validate your quantitative findings? Gumamit ka ba ng ibang data or ng ibang data collection methods para ma-strengthen yung quantitative data mo? So, yan yung common na tanong. Ngayon, baliktarin naman natin, ang ginamit mo naman ay qualitative. Nag-interview ka. Nag-analyze ka ng data thematically. Firstly, nag-coding ka, nag-analyze ka ng data thematically. Pinresent mo yung interview mo through your thematic analysis. Pero ang tanong doon, yes, nag-member checking ka, nag-validate ka, pero paano mo may strengthen yung qualitative data mo kung ang pinagkuhanan mo lang ng data ay yung interview? So in other words, tuturuan ko pa kayo ng ibang way, para madagdagan natin yung data collection methods ninyo at mas strengthen yung findings ng inyong study. Kasi ito yung common questions ng mga panel members. How sure are you that ito yung naging conclusion mo is only based on the data that you got from the data collection methods that you have? But if you're going to have a multiple collection data methods, mas mag-strengthen yung data analysis ninyo at presentation at the same time yung conclusion ng inyong study. In other words, mas mapapaganda pa yung resulta ng study nyo. So ngayon, ang pag-aaralan natin, more specifically, ay yung tinatawag nating triangulation and research. At ang triangulation ng research ay maraming klase. Bukod sa data collection methods, na po pwede nyong gamitin, pwede rin kayong magkaroon ng iba pang way or iba pang klase ng triangulation at yun yung i-discuss natin ngayon. Okay, so pagkatapos natin ng discussion, tignan ninyo kung ano ba yung pwede nyong gamitin na triangulation para mas strengthen pa yung data analysis ninyo at yung data ninyo na ipepresent nyo sa inyong thesis or master's thesis or yung inyong research paper. So, ang una natin dapat gawin, define muna natin kung ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng triangulation. Ang triangulation in research refers to the use of multiple methods, data sources, researchers, or theoretical perspective. So, nakita natin yung 4 words na ito. Methods, data sources, researchers, or theoretical perspectives to enhance the credibility and validity of a study's findings. The aim is to cross-verify results and provide a more comprehensive understanding of the research problem. Triangulation helps addresses potential biases or limitations inherent in using a single method or perspective. Katulad ng na-mention ko kanina, if you have used only a single method, a perspective, or a single researcher is involved, sometimes there are so many questions. Why did you arrive with such analysis? Now, in order to avoid those problems or gaps in your research, you can use triangulation. As a researcher, pwede mo nang isipin or mag-decide ka na para sa sarili mo na gagamit ako ng triangulation kasi maganda ito. Nakakapag-analyze ka ng data mo ng maayos at naipe-present mo sila comprehensively. Now, let's proceed with the types of triangulation. Firstly, meron tayong tinatawag na methodological triangulation. Very common ito sa research. I myself, ginagamit ko ito at talagang nakakatulong siya para gumanda yung analysis ng aking data. Pati yung credibility ay nai-establish na. As well as, nai-eliminate niya yung limitations dun sa aking research. Ano nga ba ang methodological triangulation? It involves using multiple research methods to study a single phenomena. So, multiple research methods. Ang focus ng methodological triangulation ay ang paggamit ng higit sa isa pang methods para makakuha ka ng data. So, example, combining qualitative interviews with quantitative surveys to investigate the impact of a new teaching strategy on student engagement. So, yung qualitative data mo, nagpo-provide siya ng in-depth insights, while yung quantitative data mo naman, nag-o-offer siya ng statistical evidence. So, hindi ka lang gumamit ng qualitative or ng quantitative data collection methods. Ginamit mo silang dalawa at i-combine mo yung results ng study mo gamit ang dalawang research data collection methods na ito. So, magiging maganda yung result ng iyong study. Pangalawa, ang pwede mo namang gamitin ay data triangulation. So kung dun sa una, it's methodological triangulation dahil gumamit ka ng multiple methods sa pagkuha ng iyong data. Ito naman, data triangulation. It involves using multiple data sources to examine the same phenomena. Multiple data sources. So hindi lang isa. Example, collecting data from different groups of participants, example, students or teachers, or from various sources. Hindi lamang sa participants, makukuha yung data, kung hindi pwede rin naman. Kumuha ka ng iba't ibang data sa iba't ibang sources, katulad ng surveys, observations, or documents, para makakuha ka ng fuller understanding sa iyong research question. So aside from the survey, ang ginawa mo, tinignan mo pa yung mga performances. O, tinignan mo pa yung mga academic performances or yung employee performances. Nag-survey ka or nag-interview ka, tapos gumamit ka pa ng ibang document para ma-analyze yung iyong data. So, ang tawag doon ay data triangulation. Pangatlo, researcher triangulation. It involves using multiple researchers to collect and interpret data. So, kung nung una, meron tayong multiple methods. Pangalawa, meron tayong multiple data. Pangatlo, meron naman tayong multiple researchers na magko-collect at mag-i-interpret ng data. Example, having different researchers independently analyze the same set of interview transcripts to reduce personal biases or increase the reliability of findings. Ito, ginagawa ko ito sa aking qualitative research. Hindi lamang ako ang nag-i-interpret or nagtatranscribe ng mga transcripts na meron ako at hindi lamang ako yung nag-a-analyze ng data. I commission someone, another qualitative researcher who knows about qualitative research, and then this person will help me on the transcription and analysis of data. So, hindi lang ako. So, in that way, class, or my dear listeners or students, hindi ako nagiging bias. No, as a researcher, kung ano yung magiging interpretation ng aking qualitative data dahil meron pang iba na gumagawa nun, bukod sa akin. Pang-apat, theoretical triangulation. It involves applying multiple theoretical perspective to interpret the data. So, hindi lang isang theoretical perspective ang ginagamit mo as a researcher, kung hindi isa o marami pa. Example, using both psychological and sociological theories to understand the impact of social media on adolescent behavior. So, pareho mo itong ititest, itong hypothesis na to, at gagamitin mo sa iyong study. So, makakapag-come up ka later on ng analysis base sa different theoretical perspectives. So, yung apat na pinaka-common sa triangulation ay iyon. So, I'll repeat, methodological, you have data, you have researcher triangulation and theoretical triangulation. Ngayon, now you have to decide as a researcher, ano ba yung gagamitin namin, ma'am, na triangulation dun sa aming research. So, kayo na yung bahala as a researcher kung ano yung sa tingin ninyo ay magagamit ninyo base sa inyong skills or sa inyong kakayahan, base dun sa data na na-analyze ninyo, at base dun sa kung ano yung gusto nyong ipunto or i-present dun sa inyong data. So, doon magdedepende kung anong triangulation ang gagamitin nyo. Pero kung I suggest as a researcher, use triangulation regardless of what it is at kung ano yung mag-fit dun sa inyong research. Now, i-discuss naman natin ngayon, ano ba ang gamit ng triangulation? Madaming sinabi si ma'am, pero specifically, ano ba yung gamit ng triangulation na na-discuss ni ma'am? So, let's discuss it specifically kung ano-ano ba yung mga gamit or uses ng triangulation. So, unang-una, it enhance validity. So, tama naman, no? Pag gumamit tayo ng triangulation kasi nakakatulong siya para ma-increase yung validity ng ating research findings. Sa paanong paraan, ma'am? By cross-verifying results from different sources or methods. So, hindi lang isa yung pinagmumulan ng ating data. This can confirm that a certain findings are not specific to one method or perspective. Second, you will have to produce or you might produce a comprehensive understanding of the data on hand. By integrating different methods or perspectives, pag gumamit ka ng triangulation, nakakapagbigay siya ng mas kompleto at komprehensibong pag-intindi or understanding sa iyong research problem. Nakakatulong din siya para ma-capture mo yung iba't ibang facets ng phenomena na pinag-aaralan mo. Pangatlo, bias reduction. Siyempre, pag gumamit ka ng multiple sources of methods, nakakatulong siya na ma-reduce yung potential bias na po pwedeng mangyari kapag ka nagre-rely ka lamang sa isang approach or sa isang data collection methods or sa isang perspectives. Nakakapag-provide siya para magkaroon ng check and balance dun sa findings mo against different viewpoints. Ang ikaapat, it increase reliability. Sa paggamit ng triangulation, nai-improve niya yung reliability ng research findings mo. Sa paanong paraan? Kasi nakakapag-demonstrate siya ng results na consistent across different methods or sources. So nakikita yon sa iyong papel. At nakakatulong ito para maging credible yung iyong research base doon sa presentation mo ng iyong findings. Ang panglima, it addresses methodological limitation. So, kapag gumamit ka ng different methods or ng different sources, meron kasing mga unique strengths and weaknesses yan. Ngayon, kung gagamit ka ng triangulation, yung researcher nale-leverage na yung strength or yung ganda ng findings ng kanyang research while nami-mitigate niya rin yung weaknesses. Anong magiging result nito? Nagkakaroon siya ng reliable at saka balanced results. Pang-anim, it enhance interpretation. Yung multiple perspectives or methods na ginamit mo, nakakapag-provide siya ng richer data or more comprehensive interpretation. Ang ending, nagkakaroon ka ng deeper insight sa mga complex research questions. And then lastly, nagkakaroon ka ng cross-validation. Kasi yung findings mo, pag gumamit ka ng triangulation, nababalidate siya kasi nagko-compare ka ng results from different methods or resources. Nakakapag-provide siya ng stronger evidence at nasusupport niya yung iyong research conclusions. Yun yung pinakamaganda ron. Nagkakaroon ka ng magandang research conclusions dahil gumamit ka ng multiple sources of data, collection, or perspectives from your study. Na magbigay tayo ng mga specific example sa paggamit ng triangulation. Ang topic natin, investigating the effectiveness of a new employee training program. Kung ang gagamitin ko ay methodological triangulation, pwedeng gumamit ako ng quantitative, no? Gagamit ako ng pre- and post-test training surveys, at gagamit naman ako ng interview sa aking participants, tapos i-analyze ko silang pareho. No? Statistical changes in performance and then yung personal feedback ng training program. So, hindi lang ako nagre-rely sa quanti, sa survey. Gumagamit din ako ng ibang methods para ma-suffice or matulungan yung aking quantitative data. Pangalawa, kung gagamit naman ako ng data triangulation, I can collect data from different sources such as, kunyari, performance reviews, mga surveys, yung assessment ng supervisor, or you can get a comprehensive view of the training program impact. Iba't ibang data yung aking pinagkuhanan. Hindi lamang ako kumuha ng performance review, hindi lamang survey, hindi lamang yung assessment ng supervisor, kung hindi ginamit ko itong lahat. Kung gagamit naman ako ng researcher triangulation, pwedeng ang gawin ko ay I can have multiple researchers to analyze the survey data and interview transcript independently, katulad ng binigay kong example sa inyo kanina. No? Merong mga iba't ibang researcher na mag-analyze ng mga data na nakuha mo, whether it's a quantitative data or qualitative data. At ang pang-apat ay theoretical triangulation. Ang gagawin ko naman dito, i-apply ko yung both learning theory sa organizational behavior theory, tapos interpret ko yung results base dito sa theory na ito. So, gagamit ako ng dalawang theory. Okay, so dyan natatapos yung ating discussion sa triangulation. Lagi kong sinasabi, no, as a researcher, and as far as my experiences is concerned in publishing paper, mas maganda kung meron tayong triangulation na ginagamit at hindi lang tayo nagre-rely sa isang data. No, ngayon, or the isang data or collection methods or perspectives. So sana ngayon makakapag-decide na kayo kung anong gagawin nyo sa inyong research para maiwasan nyo yung doubt dun sa presentation ng inyong findings at maging ready kayo sa inyong defense na hindi lamang iisang data or isang collection methods ang naging basehan ng analysis ng inyong research. It will be very comprehensive and it will really reveal the reliable findings of your study. I hope these lesson videos help you in deciding whether to use triangulation or not. Pero ipupush ko pa rin sa inyo, you use triangulation. Okay? So please like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel. And always remember, we unlock insights to empower your minds. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you on our next lesson video. Bye-bye.